Good evening everybody, welcome to Gradeup's MBA channel. So there are just 2 days left for MAH CET. So it's for the past month, 1 month we have been taking sessions on preparation for MAH CET, and now the time has come that you are left with just 2 days for the examination. So today I'm going to discuss some last minute tips so that you could scale your scores. Okay, so a lot of you had pinged me on social media sites asking that this is your score in mocks and also how can I scale it and so on. So don't worry about whatever you have done in the mock test, because those are not a true picture of what you are going to do in the examination. So many a times it has happened that students who have not been doing good in mocks have done very well in the actual examination, and the opposite is also true. So many of those who have been doing very good in the mocks have failed to perform in the actual examination. So today I'm going to discuss a few things related to your last minute and what you should do and don't do during the examination. Okay, so good evening everyone, whosoever has been waiting for the session eagerly. So let's begin. So if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to it, because we are going to have a session on exam analysis on 14th of March. Okay, so so the ones who have examination on in the third shift of 14th or on 15th will definitely get benefit out of it. So I hope every one of you is aware of this examination pattern. So one important thing to note is there is no negative marking. Okay, so unlike most of the examinations where you have negative marking, there is no negative marking in this examination. So please spare at least 5 minutes for marking the unattempted questions. So don't so if you are serious aspirant, please do put some time for that, so that that could just give you some additional marks in the examination. And it has been observed that if you randomly mark the questions, and I mean there is no such proven thing, but yes, as per probability you should get if not 1/5, even if you get say 1/6 or 1/7 of the questions, unmarked questions, and you get some of them right, that would definitely improve your score. Okay, so there is no such some people create videos just to get views, that how to mark answers and all. There is no such proven thing. Okay, so I'll discuss some of the pointers where that could help, but not everywhere. Okay, so here are the tips that I would like to say you should do and don't for the last minute. Okay, so the first thing is don't start a new topic now. Okay, so whatever you have studied, stick to that. Don't think that, okay, I did not do para jumbles, or I did not do, say, a certain type of puzzle, or I did not do syllogism. So don't start any new topic now. That is not going to help you. That will confuse you, and please focus on what you have done so far. Okay. And you must have taken a good number of mock tests. I'm assuming that all of you must have taken 10 to 15 or even 20 mock tests, or whatever the number. So by now you must have known what are your strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so according to that you have to plan your actual examination. So suppose you are very good at quant and DI, or you are very good at verbal, so start with your forte, because what happens is it's all about psychology. Okay, so if you start with your forte, the topic which you are good at, so you'll obviously start getting questions right in the beginning, and that will help you boost your confidence. On the other hand, if you start with something which you find difficult, okay, you won't get questions right in the initial few minutes, and then you'll start panicking. Okay, so it's all about psychology, how you take the test. So if you are good at some section or a particular question type, please start that paper with that particular section or topic. Okay, and obviously please revise the formulae, because that helps. Say for example, like I'll give you a real life incidents. So just before CAT, I just revised. I did not prepare for CAT. I just revised a couple of formulae related to geometry, and that helped me in the actual examination. So in case you have not had much practice of say quant, okay, so that will help you assist in that. Okay, for example, if I ask you what is the formula of surface area of sphere, okay, so if some question related to data sufficiency or that thing comes up, you might be able to solve it. Okay, so please revise those formulae, and you have to keep your calm, you have to relax, and you have to believe in yourself. Okay, because see, whatever you have prepared, okay, as like if you have prepared honestly, you have been honest, that will definitely help you. And the day before the examination, take a proper meal and have a good sleep. Okay, so don't skip your meal. And even on the day of the examination, if you have in the morning shift, please go and have breakfast. Okay, don't attempt that paper without that. And another important thing which generally sometimes cause panic during the examination is your admit card, photograph, etc. Whatever is mentioned in the admit card, please read the instructions carefully. Whatever they've asked, if they've asked for a photocopy of your identity proof or have asked for an original identity proof, so please keep those documents handy for the day of the examination. Okay. Now let's talk about some things which are relevant for the exam day, for the D day. Okay, so the first thing is please reach the exam center on time. Okay, so I mean that helps. If you reach on the last minute, sometimes it causes panic, so please reach the exam center on time. So that's why they give you time at, for example, if your suppose your reporting time is 9:15, it means that the paper would start at 10, so try to reach by 9:30, 9:40. Okay, so you have ample time and you can reach the examination hall on time. Okay, and one important thing, don't think about external factors. So many a times students start thinking that this faculty member is writing the examination, would that impact our scores? No, that is not going to make any difference. Okay, even if like some toppers, so there are several faculty members who generally ace the examinations. Okay, if they are appearing for the examinations, don't get frightened, because anyway like people like us who have already been MBAs and who have like already seen that phase, we are not going to fight for a seat. Okay, we have just taken the examination just to measure our potential and see that if we can compete with the students, and I mean to build a credibility. So don't think about that Patrick sir or any other teacher is going to write the examination and they are going to top it. Okay, so don't think about that thing. And obviously, as I mentioned before, start with your forte. Okay, so whatever your strong areas are, please start with those because that will give you initial marks in the paper. So for example, if you are good at logical reasoning, so you can start with that, and you will earn some marks in the initial phase, and that will boost your confidence. And not to say don't spend too much time on a question. Even if you are good at a particular topic, say if you are a quant wizard, don't think that you are going to attempt each and every 50 question of the quant and DI section. So leave a question. You can if you get a chance to review that question later, you can go ahead and attempt it, but don't spend too much time on a question. Okay, don't go with a target score. Many a times you must have watched videos, people claiming that how to score 140 or 150. Don't go by any target score. So there could be two scenarios. Okay, it's not that it is going to be of the same difficulty level. So there could be two possible scenarios. For example, the paper turns out to be tough. Okay, and if it is tough, it is going to be tough for everyone, and the same goes for an easy paper. So if you attend the examination with a target score and you are unable to solve questions in the beginning, so it's very obvious that you will lose confidence, and you will fumble to solve questions in the remaining part of the examination. Okay, and you will end up screwing the paper. On the other hand, suppose you have targeted say 140. So suppose someone told you that if you get 140 you get JB, okay, and you start aiming for 140. However, the paper turned out to be easy, okay, and you were relaxed that after 2 hours you see, okay, I've scored enough, like 120, 125, and you maintain your pace accordingly. However, the paper was easy, and the ones like could score more than say 150, 155 or so. So that is why don't target a score, because it depends on the number on the difficulty level of the examination. Hence, don't target a particular score. Now, talking about set questions, especially reading comprehension, DI and LR. Try to attempt most of the sets, as many sets as possible. So solve the questions and not the sets. So if you have watched my videos, you must have seen that there are certain questions that in a DI set that might require a lot of calculation, or an LR set which requires a question of a particular LR set that requires additional information and so on. So try to look at the questions. If you feel that those questions would take additional time to solve, so you could skip those questions, okay. And if you have been following our videos, you must have seen that how to check sets. So how to check whether a DI set is going to be an easy or moderate or difficult one, and similarly for LR sets by just looking at the question. So you can decide that which ones are easy and you could solve them first. And one important thing is, like most of the times, like since it is being conducted by IBPS, many times we see change in pattern, okay. So don't panic if you see any new pattern questions, okay. Don't panic, because it is going to be a new pattern for everyone, and many of the aspirants, I'm telling that many of those would blindly skip those questions. So just have a look, okay, read the question, read the instruction, and see whether you can do it, okay. So in many of the cases you would find that it is not difficult, it just becomes difficult because it's it plays with the psychology of the aspirants. They see, okay, this is some new type of question and I might not be able to attempt it, I may not be able to get it right, so they skip it. So most of the aspirants are going to skip those questions. So look at the question, read the instructions carefully, and then decide, okay. I'm not saying that please attempt those or skip those, but make a wise decision, okay, by reading the instructions. Once you get that what should be the right whether it is solvable or not, okay, then you can skip those or decide to attempt those. Now let's talk about section wise tips, okay. Now we'll discuss section wise. Let's discuss the abstract reasoning, since this is a section which is unique to this examination, okay. And most of the questions are going to be series, odd one, analogies. And so for example, in questions that involve series and odd one, like we did have sessions on those, and you saw that you could eliminate options and then decide. So for example, if a series has 4 images, okay, and you are observing a particular pattern, say if it is rotation or a cyclic movement or something other, so focus on one of the parameters. So suppose there are 4 images within an image, within a box, say a rectangle, a square, a circle, and a star, and you see that, okay, this is the movement of the star, so the next pattern is going to be this. So you can eliminate options based on that and go ahead and solve in that manner. So that is a faster way to solve questions. And I hope you attended the session on mirror water images. That helps you build the concepts for solving questions. And in analogies, generally you would have these reflections and rotation or introduction of new elements. So like you must have attempted a good number of questions that would have helped you determine that what could be the possible logics, or based on what parameters could you have these analogies. And especially for this category, that if you are unable to find out any pattern, please leave that question. those questions appear to be interesting. Everyone likes solving those because everyone finds those those are very quite attracting questions. But don't spend too much time on those questions because each question carries equal marks. So if you are able to figure out the pattern, okay, go and attempt those questions. And if you think that after 15 seconds, 15-20 seconds you are heading nowhere, okay, please skip those questions. Now talking about the logical reasoning section, which is the biggest section, 75 questions, okay, and you cannot do away with puzzles. You will have to attempt some of the puzzle sets. So if you have say 5 to 6 types of puzzles, so you will have to attempt those puzzles. So in this section there are certain types of questions that we have discussed which are easy, and you should ideally start with those, okay. If you have another case, if you have affinity for different type of questions, that is okay, but you should attempt these questions: inequalities, syllogisms, coding, decoding, input, output. These are generally easy ones. So you can look at the coding, decoding and input, output. If you are able to figure out their pattern, please do attempt those questions because they take less time to solve as compared to the other conventional puzzles. And inequalities, syllogisms, these are easy concepts, so you should attempt those. Even blood relation, direction sense, if you have good concepts in those questions, you should attempt those. Now difficulty level of puzzles, as we have been discussing in our sessions, in those cases you have to see if the statements are connecting, okay, if the conditions given are connected with each other, if they are in a sequential manner, those are easy to solve. In case you have jumbled up instructions, then it becomes difficult. So if you have been watching our videos, you must have realized that how to determine easy, moderate or difficult puzzles. So based on that, take a call that which puzzle are you going to attempt. And so in case of puzzles, you are not comfortable with all types. For example, some have difficulty in circular arrangement, some may have difficulty in vertical arrangement like floor based questions and so on. So based on your comfort level, attempt those questions. Okay, and one important thing which applies not only to reasoning section but also to quant as well, DI as well, that use initial letters while doing rough work. Okay, so say for example in input output as well as while you are arranging people, names of people or places, use initial letters. So this helps you to reduce the paperwork and you are able to solve questions quickly. And like in most of the cases, okay, so in most of the cases you don't have, some people give you flukes, but I will just give you something based for DS based on my experience. Most of the questions are generally both or none. Okay, in many of the cases we have seen that the answers are both or none. Don't go by it blindly, but in case, because if you are unable to if you find the DS questions very lengthy, you don't have much time, you can pick one of those. Okay, we have seen that most of the questions are generally both or none type. Okay, so either both statements are sufficient or none of the statements is sufficient. So apply this only if you are short of time. Okay, and critical reasoning questions also, I hope you should attempt those. Now talking about quant and DI section. Okay, so this is a section in which there are certain type of questions. Okay, number series, you should attempt those. Ideally you will get 3 to 4 easily, 3 to 4 out of 5. Okay, and quadratic equations, if they are asked, those are easy ones. Okay, please do attend those questions. Now as we have been seeing in our DI sessions, that please don't create table for entire DI set. Okay, so please don't create table for entire DI set. Look at the questions and see that if it is really required. So please create only those portion of the table which is really required for the 5 questions. Okay, and avoid those questions that involve too many calculations or involve creating the entire data table. Okay, so suppose if you have say 8 by 3 table, and if you are asked the total and ratio of total or some kind of thing wherein you have to do multiple calculations and you have to create the entire table, so avoid those questions. Okay, because say suppose you are able to solve 4 questions in 3 minutes. So for one question, if you feel that you are going to spend another 2 minutes, it's not a great deal. Okay, instead try to solve some other question wherein you could solve it within lesser time. And for arithmetic questions, you might not be good at all concepts. Okay, so please solve only those which you are good at. Okay, so I mean start solving from that topic. Okay, I'm not saying that don't attempt all questions, but you should start with, say for example, if you are not comfortable with P and C, okay, so don't attempt those. If you are good at say ratio, proportion or percentages, profit loss, so start with those questions. Okay, now talking about the English section. Okay, English section, the RCs take the most amount of time. Okay, so it's but you should not skip the RCs altogether. Don't skip all the RCs. There will be multiple RCs. Don't skip the RCs altogether. Okay, in the RCs, so there are 2 approaches. Okay, so some go by the approach of passage first, some go by the approach of question first. Okay, so it depends on you. It depends from person to person. So the ones who are avid readers, okay, they go by passage first approach. They read the passage first and then look at the questions. And there are others who don't like reading. They read the questions first and then see the RC. Okay, so it depends whichever approach you apply. So it varies from person to person, so you can choose either of the approaches. Now in English section, many of the guys I know are going to attempt less, but please attempt grammar, parajumble and fill in the blanks. Okay, those are going to take very less time, okay, as compared to other questions. So English section is the section where you could maximize your score in the least time. Okay, so please look at these questions and see that if they are solvable. Anyway, try to attempt all the questions since there is no negative marking. Okay, don't skip the RCs altogether because RCs are a good chunk of questions. Please do read them. Okay, so don't try to skip all the RCs because that is going to impact your scores very badly. And if there are questions, vocab based questions, they are generally solvable, so please do attempt those vocab based questions. Now ideal time distribution, a lot of you have been asking that what should be the ideal time distribution. This is just a sample, it does not apply to all. Okay, for example, some might do RC and this VARC section in just 25 minutes, or someone might do quant in 30-35 minutes. Okay, so it depends from person to person. Okay, and logical reasoning you should ideally give 55 to 60 minutes because it consumes a lot of time. Okay, and it has a good number of questions, so you cannot skip that, ignore that section altogether. And abstract reasoning, you can just make it 15 to 20, not more than that. Okay. Okay, abstract reasoning is generally easy, and if you feel that you are getting irritated by solving the section looks monotonous, skip those questions, come to those questions later. Okay, so it happens while solving abstract reasoning that you get irritated. So if you feel that after solving 10 questions you are seeing the same type of questions, you don't feel like solving those questions again, move to some other section and then come back to that section. Okay, and please spare at least 5 minutes for marking the unattempted question. So try that you attempt all 200 questions in the paper. So as I said that on 14th we are going to have exam analysis. So we have luckily the entire Gradeup team, whosoever is appearing for the examination, so all of us have examination in the first shift on 14th. Okay, so we'll finish the examination by 12:30, and it will take some 40-45 minutes to reach our office. And I mean, we've taken this time as 2 p.m. It can be delayed or advanced as well. So the tentative time is this. So you will get to know. Okay, if you are subscribed to our channel, you'll get the notification at what time we have the exam analysis. So this is, I mean, the tentative time, 14th March, 2 p.m. And if you want to share your feedback on the examination for this shift as well as other shifts, so you can share feedback on our WhatsApp number. So this is our Gradeup's WhatsApp number. Okay, so you can share your feedback. So the ones who have in the second shift and reporting time is 1:15, we will definitely do something. We'll maybe post on our Telegram group. Okay, so if you must have subscribed to our Telegram group. Our blog will be live. Okay, so don't worry that if you don't get to see the video, you can get information from our blog. And of course on our YouTube channel, so we will have the event live. So please come to the event and we can discuss over there, okay, in the form of text. So like we have a chat over here, the same day we can have a chat and we can discuss over there. And obviously you will get feedback from each other. And the ones who have on 15th, you have an advantage that you will know the pattern and all. And don't worry about normalization and all those things. Okay, just give your best. Okay, just give your best. Don't focus on any external factor. Don't think that Patrick sir or Pranav or any other like member who is going to score very high in CET is going to write the examination. So don't worry about that. Okay, that is not going to affect. That is not going to have any effect on your scores. Okay, so just give your best. Okay. So that's all. Gradeup wishes you all the best for your examination. Okay, I hope you get your dream B school through CET. And so I don't have any strategy. Whatever I had, I just showed you. It's all about psychology. Okay, of course preparation matters, but at the end it's about psychology, how you go ahead and attempt the examination. Okay. So thank you guys for attending this session. I hope you do well in the examination. All the best for your examination. And we'll see on 14th and we'll discuss the examination. So please do attend that session. That will help you how was the paper, and you will get everything related to the actual examination. Thank you and have a great day. All the best.